Hello, welcome back to the channel. Bit more maintenance today. I know there's been a fair bit recently, but you need to keep up with it. You need to keep on top of things. And today I'm going to be cleaning the chain and re-waxing it, as I do, or re-lubricating it, as some people do call it. This is obviously on my Bonneville, but it'll be the same for any chain-driven bike, really. The cleaning and lubricating or waxing, depending on the conditions you're riding, depends on how denotes how frequently you will need to do it. If there's a lot of grit stuck to the chain, not only will it wear your chain out prematurely, it will also wear your sprockets out. So it's well worth doing. It's a mucky job. As I said on the title of the video, it's a mucky job, but somebody's got to do it, so it may as well be you. There's various products on the market. I'll go through them in a minute. And this is just the way I do it. I mean, people have their own preferences, but it's well worth doing to preserve the life of the chain and the sprockets, because they are expensive to replace. As I say, if you ride it regularly in the rain and in the winter especially, and you pick up all the dirt and the crap and the grit, it's just grinding away at the sprockets and the chain rollers. So let's get on with it. Let's get it done. One thing I must mention, if you're not already a subscriber, if you would consider doing so, it would be very, very, very much appreciated. It's completely free of charge, and it does help me to develop the channel. And believe me, I need all the help I can get. So yeah, if you would click like and subscribe, that would be great. Anyway, let's get on with it now. First thing you've got to do, obviously, is get the back wheel off the ground. Now, I've never fitted the centre stand to my Bonneville, so I've got I think I've covered these before, the Tech Bike Parts bobbins that go through the rear spindle. So paddock stand, locate in there. We'll get this back wheel off the ground. There we go. There we are, back wheel off the ground. Right, the cleaner I'm going to use today just happens to be made by Motul. I've not used this one before. I'm not really precious about which products I use for cleaning the chain. The product I use for waxing the chain, I've stuck to for many years now, and I'll come to that later when we come to do the job. So this is just a general purpose chain cleaner. It's basically a degreaser, but it evaporates very quickly. So it's a normal degreaser. You have to wash it with water. These you don't. So I use this. It's got the usual spray nozzle on, and I use these three-sided brushes. That's an old one. I think I've used that a couple of times now. You can wash them out and you can buy new bits in there, but what I tend to do, that's an old one, so it is a bit mucky, so I'll use that one for, shall we say, roughing out. And every 2 or 3 times I do buy a new one, so that'll be for the final. That one hasn't been used yet. I mean, these are only, you can get them for about £3 a go. I think you can buy that's a muck-off one. I think you can buy the new brushes for it, but they're nearly the same price, so you may as well just, well, I do anyway. I just buy a new one every now and then. I use that for roughing, that for finishing. So let's get the mucky bit done now. Right, first thing to do to gain access, or better access, is to whip this chain guard off. On the Bonneville it's just 2 screws, mine are Torx. Sometimes they're Allen screws. So we'll whip that off. There's one, put that down there, safe. This is one of the easiest jobs. There's the other one. And there goes the chain guard. Put that down there out the way. Right, I'm also going to take off the front chain, the front sprocket cover. This is the original sprocket cover that went on there, and I think I've mentioned again in some of the other videos, when I took that off for the first time, that was show it around there. That was absolutely caked in dirt and grass and oh goodness knows what, and it was just rubbing on the chain constantly. So that one came off, and this item again, it's from Tech Bike Parts, I think. It's more open, it doesn't hold the grit, so let's just break them off. Just simply 4 bolts, and off it will pop. They do these in black, and this one, as you can see, is the silver version, because I'm a sucker for black and chrome, or black and alloy if you like. So pull that up in one piece, pop that down there. As you can see now, there is a little bit of muck and grit and dirt down there, so I'll give this a good clean as well. The sprockets I replaced, oh, I can't remember, it's probably a year ago now, so they should be fine. But right, let's get on with the cleaning process. So we'll get on with it now. So I'll use the other thing I use sometimes is these little foil baking trays. They're only a couple of pence each, well 20-30 pence each, just to catch the drips underneath. So we'll jam that on there, a bit of lube, a bit of cleaner on there. I'll try and keep it away from my tyres as best I can. And then what I do, again, this is just a personal thing, to start with I'll just go along every a couple of inches, 50mm at a time, with the degreaser, and give it a good scrub till we've gone all the way around the chain at least once. So give it a good scrub, and then in a minute, when I've been round once with the brush from underneath, I'll go around again with the brush, oops, on the upper. There we go. You can see it fetching the muck off quite quickly. So there we go. I've been round once or twice now actually with the brush from underneath. Forgot to mention earlier, when I put the new chain on, that's the link that I riveted. That was the link that I riveted, and I put some nail varnish on that. So as initially, so I could keep an eye on that link for the first few months of riding, just in case it was coming loose, which it hasn't. But that marker now has acted as quite a handy little marker for telling me how many times I've gone around the chain. So I'll now go round, same again, with the old brush, with the thing on the top. So I'll go all the way around again like that now. Keep spraying it with degreaser, and we're halfway there. So we're almost, I think I've been round twice now, we're almost, I think, back to the marker. So that's been through at least 2 or 3 revolutions. There we go. I'll take that off now. Dump that in the tray. Now what I'm going to do, piece of old cloth, I'll hold that on there, wipe off all the there, look at that, it's horrible. Obviously don't use your best t-shirt for this, so dry it off a little bit. Now I'm going to repeat the process, but with my new brush, so that we'll call that the finishing brush. So I'll get round to, oh, there's, I've missed the mark, there it goes. So there's my marking point. So I'm going to go around now with the new brush, first on the bottom, a bit more degreaser, here we go. First on the bottom. Right, so now I've been through the chain, several revolutions with the brush on the top and the bottom. I'm now going to clean all this area around the front sprocket, use the other end of the brush, get all this out of the chain case and generally give it a good clean. Had a good wipe with the cloth. I think you can see the chain is completely grease. You can see the chain better from here. Actually, you can see the chain's completely grease free now. I have given it an initial wipe with the clean all that off there, off the exhaust, because that'll stink when you get going. So give that a good dry. Now what I'm going to do, give that a good clean in there. I've taken the side cover off, by the way, here, so just so you can see better. But there we go. I'll give that a better go in a minute. Now what I'm going to do, to make sure the chain's completely dry, as we can see, I am in the position of having an airline. So what I'm going to do to speed up the drying, because the reason you want this chain dry, degreased and dry, is if you put the wax on now, it's going to be diluted by any residue you've got of degreaser. So I'm just going to give it a blast with the airline. Down the rollers. There we go. That's got all the residue off. As you can see, it's all gone into the tray. Some of it's gone on the tyre, so I'm going to give the tyre a dry now, and then I'm going to leave that overnight for the solvent to evaporate, and that chain will be completely dry in the morning, and we'll go through the waxing lubing process. Right, let's go and have me tea. Right, next morning now. Chain is perfectly dry now. All the solvent has evaporated. It's perfectly clean and perfectly dry. But while it's on the paddock stand and the chain is accessible, it'd be foolish not to just check the chain free play, the chain slack. So we'll do that now before we apply the chain wax. So there we are. We're still on the paddock stand now. The free play on this model, the SE Bonneville 2009 SE, is 15 to 30 mil. In the middle of the chain run, between the front and rear sprockets, and on the side stand, which means obviously with the weight of the vehicle, with the weight of the bike on the suspension. I'm on the paddock stand, so same thing. I'll just show you that. You can see that's perfectly dry and clean now. So let's poke out the back of there, about there. What's that on now? That's on 60. So you can see we've got around about the 20 mil there, just under 20 mil free play there. Let's turn it round, do it in 2 or 3 places between there and there. 60 there. Yep, that's well within tolerance. One more. $50. Yeah, it's fine. It's between 50, around about the 18 mil mark. So, fix tricks, job done. Right, we're ready to apply the chain wax now. I said earlier that when I said yesterday about I'm not precious about the degreaser I use or the chain cleaner I use. They're all very much similar. But the chain wax that I use, lubricant wax, whatever you want to call it, I have stuck to this one. This is a WD-40 product. It's a WD-40 specialist motorbike chain wax. And I say that because I have tried others. I must point out as well, I'm not sponsored, I'm not supported, I'm not given free WD-40 products at all. I buy this with my own money, which is a pretty good recommendation, I suppose. I've always found this one to do what it says on the tin. It doesn't, well, it does fling. You're obviously going to get a little bit of fling, but it tends to stay where you put it. And it doesn't get all gunged up in the front sprocket and whatever. You don't get it all over your back wheel. I suppose if you put too much on, you would. But once it's dried, that's it. You forget it. This little bit on here, that doesn't come with a tin. I think I've mentioned before, I'm a sucker for gadgets. But that, when you take that off, that is supposed to stop it going off and all over your tyre and the floor and wherever. I bought this. This was about a £5. It goes on the can, but I hadn't bargained. This can is obviously slightly bigger than the can that this was meant for, slightly bigger diameter. So I've had to split it. It goes around the can. I've had to split it and use a bit of Gorilla Tape on the back. But anyway, we'll have a go and see what happens. So it's the first time I've used that, so we'll soon see if that works. While I'm talking about chain products and lubrication, whenever I'm working on the chain, on this bike or any bike, I always think back 50 odd years ago, early 70s. I was at that time I was doing, I'd got into motocross, or scrambling as it was called then. And of course, the chains on a scrambler or a motocross machine, they take a hell of a pounding, the chains. And the technology wasn't there as it is now. We've got X-ring chains, O-ring chains, Z-ring chains, whatever. Oh, by the way, this stuff, it's compatible with all those different modern chains. But anyway, I get back to the point. Yeah, the chains took a hell of a beating. And we always used a split link on the chain, so we could take the chain off. It was a lot easier than trying to clean it on the bike. So there was a product out then called Duckham's Chain Guard. I'll put a little picture up on the screen there. You can't buy it now, I don't think. Now the idea of this, it came in a tin. It was about 2 inches deep, maybe 3 inches deep. About 8, as you can see from the picture, about 8 inches diameter with handles on, so you could handle it. And inside there was a black, waxy, solid wax type stuff. And the idea was you took your chain off and you curled it round, wound it round, you dropped it on this, and then you put it on a ring, a burner, and you heated it, literally heated it up, and that heat melted the wax, or the gunge, and then you turned it down to simmer, and you literally boiled your chain in oil. And the idea was that this waxy stuff liquefied, and you just let it simmer for however long. And your chain absorbed, and it went into all the links. You then took it out. You took it off the heat. You put it on the floor. You pull your chain out, and you hung it from a hook on the ceiling, and just let the excess drain out back into the tin, because you used it multiple times, back into the tin. And then your chain was, all the links and all the rivets, all the rollers were coated in this black gunky muck, and back on the bike it went. And you then went and destroyed it at the weekend. It was never a good time for the chain in scrambling, because it was either muddy, really muddy, so you got all that to contend with. If it wasn't muddy, it was bone dry, so you got all the dust, and that was like a grinding paste. It was very rare you got ideal conditions. So, but anyway, get back to the point, Paul. Yeah, so I got this chain guard stuff, and I took my chain off, and I wiped all the excess grit off. I called it up, put it in, took it in the kitchen. My mum was out. Took it in the kitchen. I was living at home then, obviously. I was still a teenager. Into the kitchen, onto the stove, turned the gas on, boiled it up, got it nice and it was boiling, turned it down to simmer. Off I went back out in the garden, getting the bike ready again, you know, and left it to simmer, as it said on the instructions, quite within my rights to do so, except after, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it was, I went back in. I went into the kitchen from the back as my mum came in the front door. Oh my God, the house absolutely reeked. This black gunk, whatever it was, had permeated through the whole house. My mother went absolutely ballistic. Oh God. I then bought myself a little camping stove, so it was, but it was weeks before that. The smell of that, I can still smell it now. It was weeks and weeks before the smell of that chain guard left the house. But yeah, every time I work on a chain, I can't help thinking about that. But yeah, I got myself a little camping stove after that and did it outside. Anyway, let's get on with the job in hand and get this chain wax on. Right, as we can see now, I've put a bit of old carpet, I think it's a bit of car mat, behind the chain now to try and protect the tyre a little bit. So let's see if we can get shake cam well, which I can't see this working myself. I don't want to show. I don't want to. You know, you're supposed to squirt it down the roller, so it would appear that my new gadget is just going to be in the way. Oh, I'm just going to have to take that off. Oh well, you live and learn. You live and learn, as they say. So let's take that off. I might give that to somebody else. Anyway, shake the cam well, rotate the chain, point it down. There we go. Point it down in the rollers. There we go. As you can see, I just got a bit of cleaning up to do around there, but the carpet has kept the product off the. So you leave that to dry now. I can still put the chain guard back on, but see, I got a bit of cleaning up there to do. But yeah, I love this stuff, this WD-40 stuff. When that's dry, it is actually a wax. When it's dry, there's a bit around there I've missed, I think, just around there. Yeah, that's done all the rollers. Yeah, when it's dry, it is literally like a wax, and it's there's a bit round here. Let's have a look. Yeah, it dries as a wax. Obviously, the chain during operation, it does get warm, but it doesn't seem to melt. It doesn't seem to melt the wax at all. So that's that job done. So I have give the chain guard a little clean, and I'll give the sprocket cover a clean, so we'll put that back on now, and that'll be that job done. So we'll just pop this back on now. I've given it a clean. I've lost one of the spacers. There we are. Right, just offer this back up. Popped a little bit of copper grease on each thread. A little bit fiddly to start with, but one. There we go. Just get all the threads started. So it's I can't remember the price of this now. This is definitely a Tech Bike Parts item, but I think it it's functional, and it doesn't look too bad either. I don't think you can get it in black as well, but again, I'm not supported by Tech Buy parts either. It's just something I just nip that up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Right, I'll give the inside of the chain guard a good clean. Just rest that back on there. Wrong one. There we go. Let's get that one in there. Get that one started. There we go. One there. That one started. Again, just pop a little bit of copper grease on these. One. 2. There we go. So there we are, job done. I think you'll agree it doesn't take I suppose 20 minutes, half an hour. I mean, it took me longer because I was faffing about filming, but doesn't take long at all, and it's well worth doing. I mean, for a couple of cans of degreaser, and I mean that tin of that can of chain wax, I'll probably get 3 applications, maybe 4 out of that. Depends on the conditions you've been riding in, as I said before. But anyway, we'll call that the end of this video, and hopefully see you in the next one. Bye for now.